A period of time that has passed, and for my character Laurel, you'll see her have gone through that mourning process, the grieving process, but again, Tommy's death will always be with her, but you see her sort of try and pick herself up and take a step forward and try and move on with her life in the best way possible given the circumstances that just happened. And I also think that you'll see her, she's obviously does a lot of good. She tries to see the best in everyone, and I feel like even if it sounds crazy, she definitely goes a step further in giving back and trying to help people and do the best that she can. Take it away, David.
What was the question?
Oh, where your characters pick up.
Where it picks up. Katie kind of touched on this. I think everybody on the other interview, everyone is really reeling with the effects of what happened in the Glades. Obviously, losing Tommy. And as tragic as that was, I think that moves if there is a silver lining in it. I think the writers have used it to allow our characters to go in a direction that they otherwise could not have gone because of emotionally what his death has done and what happened in the Glades has done to all of the characters. So in terms of where it picks up with everybody dealing with that, just in general. Everyone's dealing with the effects of the Glades, what happened in the Glades. And then for Diggle specifically, I think for him, it's still about preparing the place or taking care of the place that Glades is his home. He's from the Glades. So it's about ridding the town of the bad folks and continuing the mission. He's a soldier, and he's very clear-cut and practical in that sense. There are people who have strayed away from the mission. You'll see that in the first episode. But Diggle hasn't. Diggle's always very centered, and he remains centered when you pick him up.
Well, when you see in the pilot of season 1, our first episode, Laurel she works at CNRI. She's the same person. She tries to see the good in everyone. She believes justice should be served. Thank you. But throughout the season, you saw her go from everything is by the book, by the law, to sort of, there was maybe a different way to look at things and through the eyes of the Arrow. He's basically doing the same thing that she's doing, trying to, save this Starling City, and he's doing it not through the law. As long as justice is served, it's served. So I think she definitely goes from that place and then sort of teams up with the Arrow, something that she normally would be against. And you'll see her point of view on the vigilante and the Arrow, like how it definitely changes throughout, obviously, season 1, and now coming into season 2. She kind of has a different way to look at things when it comes to him. And as far as getting to where she is at the beginning of season 2, obviously I said there's a chunk of time that has passed, and there's mourning, and she's lost obviously a lot of people in her life, and I think that it's made her a stronger person. It's made her grow and kind of be able to deal with more. And I don't know if she necessarily was ready for that or knew that she was ever capable of dealing with everything that she has, but it's made her a stronger person, just in general.
I think for Diggle, I think when we first saw Diggle had a very clear sense of how to save Starling City, right? And I think for him, that was not what Oliver was doing. I think his purpose of teaming up with Oliver was to kind of help Oliver not go so deep that he ends up getting himself killed. I think what Diggle saw was Oliver eventually being killed. Okay? Police will track him down and kill him. So I think Diggle's purpose was, hey, you don't have to kill people, there's a better way. I think the change that you see with Diggle is Floyd Lawton. I think, and you saw it in the beginning of the first season, that he kind of started losing his sense of you don't have to kill as much. He kind of started to get okay with Oliver killing. And I think that was because he kind of swayed he swayed in that because of when he found out Floyd was alive. I think he was on a blood quest, still is. And I think that reflects his whole worldview of how justice is served, I think. interestingly enough, we're going to deal with some of those themes in the second season of is it okay to kill? Is it all right to kill? And how that relates in the second season is going to be something we really touch on as soon as the first show of the second season. You'll see that. Yeah, I think it's interesting for Diggle that he's not in the DC comic book because you don't have that canon to rely on. You don't have that. Not that these guys rely on it all the time because they stray from it all the time, right? But you don't. I mean, and I think for the fans, you don't really have them as much as other characters. They might say Laurel doesn't do this, Laurel Lance wouldn't do that. They can't really say that about Diggle because Diggle didn't exist. And for me as an actor, it's always great to play somebody who you can put your stamp on that never existed before. And now he does because of what I've done to him and what other people have done in terms of writing.